Alrighty. Thank you everybody for being here tonight for our end of the month boot camp. So this is pretty exciting, and what we're doing on this is going through Vital 180. So there's actually a couple, at least one new person on that has not yet seen what Vital 180 looks like. So this is our online training system, vital180.com. So thus far, we've reviewed the Getting Started training. That Getting Started training, everyone that signs up needs to go through that speaks English, obviously. We're using the RISE brochure along with this. The RISE brochure does exist in Spanish. And then we've gone through the part of the STAR training, and what we had for homework this week was our Believe section. So thus far, if for whatever reason you're a little bit backed up and your team members are a little bit backed up, remember the reason why it's so important for people to go through this is because this is teaching your team what to do without you being present. So you have people that are not yet on Essential Rewards. They go over these videos and it teaches them why Essential Rewards, how to enroll, how to update it. It reminds them to try a new product every month and how to replace things in their home. The more that we have people teach and learn from this online system, from the RISE brochure, from a video, from the blog, when we're not there, the faster our team is able to grow and to learn things on their own. So then we also went over all of the booklets that we have, and then how to teach an actual class. So again, if you didn't get through that, then that would be important to get through. This section had a lot of good videos, and it actually had a questionnaire too. So if you haven't filled this out, definitely take some time to do this. So this is a belief questionnaire, and it's just really important for you to understand, like, where are you at and where should you spend your time learning things. So what's your understanding of Young Living essential oils? And they have dates here, so you're going to go back and check in on this. What's your understanding of Young Living supplements? What's your understanding of Young Living personal care products? What's your understanding of Young Living pet care products? What is your understanding of the YL business opportunity? What is your understanding of network marketing? How is your belief in Young Living as a company? How's your belief in the ability to showcase the company? How's your belief in your ability to explain an opportunity? And how's your belief in yourself? What are you most excited about? And what's your greatest concern? So if you haven't filled this out in the last 6 months, or if you're just starting the training, definitely fill this out. Have a conversation with the person that you usually work with, because then you can formulate a plan. If you feel like you love the oils, but you don't know anything about supplements, well, we got tons of videos in training we've already done on supplements. Personal care products, well, that's what we do our spa parties for, so that you can learn the personal care products, and we have training on that. I'm allergic to all animals, but I make sure once a year to usually go to some type of pet training, and a lot of times we will do once a year at least one education on this, because people love their pets, and 50% of the people in Young Living have pets. And then part of what we're talking about tonight in these videos have to do with business opportunity and network marketing. And each of the belief sections that comes up are going to have more tools, more books, more things to go through. So again, just rate yourself, talk to the person you work with, and then formulate a plan to increase all of these numbers so that you can redo it in 6 months and see where you are. Anyone else have any questions or comments they want to make about the belief questionnaire? And then this is just a little document talking about finding a mentor. So the person that you usually work with is going to help you a lot, but then you may need to find some additional support. There's other just Facebook groups or teams, but it just talks about the importance of always making sure that you check in with someone. If you're running for a specific rank or a level or income, you have to do things on a daily basis and on a weekly basis. So making sure that you personally check in with your mentor on a weekly basis is super important. So that just goes over information to do that. So then we had these videos, or you can purchase the CDs, the audios, and then there's a book. There's 2 books actually here. So there's not really something that matches the Flip Flop CEO, but just put that on your wish list. I have purchased that book and read that book. A very good book about just the model of network marketing and residual income in general. But then we had these audios to listen to. So building your network marketing business. I was re-listening to it. I've listened to it several times, and there's lots of good points that it brings out, but I will let other people that did get a chance to listen to it or have listened to it in the past to share, if anyone wants to share.
Let me go first. Yeah. Oh, okay. I want to share this point. I absolutely love Jim Rohn because I love his energy. The way he speaks is very upbuilt, or what's the term I'm looking for? It's high energy. So it's nice to listen to something like Jim Rohn when he shares. But one of the main things, and I was just telling Dana as we were listening to it earlier, I've listened to that Jim Rohn speech like more times than I can count. And we're talking like over the past probably 10, 12 years. It's a very old speech. Like, it's been around for a while. But one of the things that Jim stresses, and I tell this to everybody, is it's not necessarily about what happens to you, but it's about how you respond. So we can't control. I think he says it's not the wind that blows the sail, but build a better sail, or something to that extent. Because take, for example, like we're living through a pandemic. Like, none of us can control things going on with the pandemic. Now, granted, that has turned out to work very good for the health and wellness industry, just because people are more conscious about that. But going forward, we can't control what people's mentality will be. The only thing that we can control are the things within ourselves. So one of the things that he mentions that's very important for people to develop are skills. And I was just having a discussion with someone at work about how important skills are, as rather than anything else, especially when we look at something like this. If you're a new person that's just getting started, like, you won't have a lot of skills when it comes to networking, and that's okay. But the more that you develop those skills, and the more skills that you develop, and as you refine them, then you're going to notice that, hey, when I'm talking to 10 people, my conversion rate goes up. So if I'm talking to 10 people and when I first get started, I can only get 1 to sign up, that's fine, because you haven't developed and refined those skills. But as you get better, you might notice it'll be 3 out of 10 or 4 out of 10. In baseball, like, if you can hit 3 out of 10, they pay you handsomely. So I think that's an interesting point that they make. The other material mentions the 4-year career. If you have not read that book before, it's an excellent book to read, especially Young Living has a Young Living edition. There is a 4-year career for women, I believe, as well. But helping people to appreciate and compare what we've been taught over the past, generations, as far as how to make money and build wealth. It's not really relevant anymore, because the industry and the world has shifted. We think of like our parents and even the generations before that, how they were told, work a job for 40 years and then 30 years and then retire and enjoy like maybe another 10 years or something like that on less than what you were making in the first place. Now we're seeing a shift. Because of the internet, a lot of things have moved online. I was just talking to someone earlier today about how even the generation that's coming after Dana and I, how their mentality is not necessarily college degree, 30-year career. It's entrepreneurship and having a 4-year career and building and earning money that way. So those are like two excellent tools that I enjoy. If you haven't had an opportunity to listen to Jim Rohn talk, listen to that, and then take time to read the 4-Year Career, or listen to it. It is in audiobook format too, if you're that kind of person. But they're excellent tools.
So I'll add, I didn't know, were we just talking about Jim Rohn, or were we talking about all of the things right now?
You can just start with Jim Rohn.
Oh, okay.
And then, I mean, I'm going to talk about Jim Rohn too. So yeah, just start with Jim Rohn.
Okay, so I was just going to piggyback off of some of the things that he said. One of the things that I appreciated is they talk about the seasons. The seasons are going to change. It's not worth trying to figure out why it is. And he's like, if you get your own planet, you can change those things. But while we're here, that's what it is. And the same thing when it comes to this line of work and this type of business. And so again, to his point, we always know that, like, when it comes to the economic situation, there's a recession, and then there's good times, and then there's a recession, and then there's good times, right? Like, that is just the ebb and flow that has been here on this planet for eternity. So as a result, again, we prepare ourselves, and that's why we have something like the structure of this type of business in order to combat some of those things to the best of our abilities. And then I appreciated it. He uses some scriptures that are interesting, but you know, I'm kind of weird about, you know, when you use God's word for certain, but his illustrations are very, very powerful, and they're very, very good because it's so true. Because he talks about that soil, you know, there's going to be some people that, you know, they didn't come to the class because their front door fell off or something like that, and they got to take care of their house. Like, so at the end of the day, you have to realize that is just the way it is. Don't waste your time worrying about, yeah, but they said they were going to do the business, and now they're not doing it, and I don't know what happened. And he's like, you can worry about that all you want, but you're just wasting your time. Just keep moving on. And then the other big thing I thought that was important is that conversion of 3 to 10. He's like, if you're good at what you do, then you should be able to get 3 out of 10. But really, for the average person, 1 or 2 out of 10 is an excellent rate. So if we're only talking to 1 or 2 people, well, that's probably why you're not going to be very successful, right? You need to at least be talking to 10 people so you can convert 1 person. And so he was saying that a person can make up in numbers what they lack in skills. So especially in the beginning, you want to be making sure that you are putting a lot of people in that pool.
Yeah, definitely. And that's, you know, why it's important that we started really, you know, with we did our 40 names list, expanding our list. Some of us already had a hundreds list. That's why it's important to be actively adding to that list. What is your plan to actively add? Because Sarah Harnish, she mentions that you want to be inviting like 50 plus people to every class. So we have classes that are regular there, and you want to make sure that all your team members are getting to that class, all of your customers are getting to that class, because they need several exposures to continue to want to buy in the future. But you also want to make sure that you're actively working that hundreds names list and directly inviting several people to that class, so that you can get those numbers up. Because again, if you're new and your ratio is 1 out of 10, the faster you get through those 10 people, the faster you'll get a sign up. Rather than just going back to the same people, you can continue to invite them to classes, but don't concentrate on these 3 people that you want to do it. Let them go at their own pace and continue to invite other people. So yeah, I put the full quote that I found I Googled it. So the same wind blows on all of us, winds of disaster, opportunity, and change. Therefore, it is not the blowing of the wind, but the setting of the sails that will determine our direction in life. And I kind of talked about this with Dana earlier today. It's interesting because I've been doing all these classes with a lot of amazing people that are experts in their field. And I had a really hard time when we got into this and we had to start doing everything online. I'm an extreme extrovert. I like my in-person classes, but I was doing lives before. I was doing Zoom classes before. And because it was not difficult for me to just think a little bit and convert it and start moving everything over. And there has been some benefits of doing that. And so when I'm doing these classes, a lot of these times I'm getting with some other experts to teach on a regular basis, and they haven't converted as fast as I have. Like the one that we just did a little bit ago, he didn't even have Zoom downloaded. He was like, I've never used Zoom before. And I'm like, wow, this is a value. We as a team were able to take what we're going through, and we were able to adjust the sales, and we were able to continue to do classes and to make things happen. So it's really all about our mindset and our creativity and making sure that we can adjust those sales so that we can continue to move forward. So I really did love that point. And yeah, again, that the names list is like, it's just huge. Get through the numbers, actively think of new people to be adding, actively do things. For those of us that have been doing this for 5 years, like there's not too many family members that don't know that we do this, right? The majority of our friends know that we do this. So we really have to be active about going out and doing other things. Like this past week, I was invited to join a multi-vendor event. Now, I'm like, I don't usually do like these, it was more to me like what people would do for product-based stuff. Like I don't have a Facebook group where I try to prospect people. I don't, like the purse people do or the bag people do. Like I don't really do that. So it was really like super outside of my comfort zone, because I'm like, this isn't really what I do, but I wanted to explain my names list. I honestly did not think I was going to get anything out of it. I didn't think I was going to get anything out of it, but I got a new customer and someone that bought a basic kit with a bunch of oils. And I offered to send people samples, and I added 11 people to my names list by sending them samples. So you just never know. Just look for opportunities as something different. Like I said, when they were telling me I was supposed to like offer a gift certificate, and I had to Google a gift certificate, like you got to offer something for free. I'm like, everything about it was not how I usually operate in my business. But again, I got to expand my names list. I got to add people, and it worked, at the end of the day, because I did something different.
I can add to that point that you just said. So tomorrow, actually, so in the beginning of all of this COVID stuff, I had made like little gift things for our waste management guys that come in here. And so I tried to witness to them too, but they're still getting tracks. But they really liked the thieves spray. And so I put my card in there, and the guy emailed me. And so now tomorrow, I emailed him back yesterday, and tomorrow they're going to be back in. So I made them another thieves spray, and he wants to know more about the thieves products. And so they have the information and things like that. And so I just say that to say that, again, there's people everywhere. Like there's no way that you've talked to all of your mail people and the waste management and your neighbors, and you don't even really have to necessarily be on social media or like there's people around you if you just kind of take a little extra to kind of connect with people. Or even I know a lot of people that at some point came into my organization might have been people that I did go to school with, and so then I reconnected with them, or people that I grew up with that I just reconnected with. There's people everywhere.
So true. Anybody else want to share just on the topic, whether or not you re-listen to the information? But anybody else want to share anything? All right. Dana, you want to move on to the next, to making the shift?
So I realized this one, I had not listened to this in 5 years. So I probably listened to, because like for me, this Vita 180, I did it when it first came out and everything like that, when probably I first started. And I was shocked how good the information is on there. And I'm like, I need to go back and listen to that a few more times, because even some of the analogies that I do use, I'm like, oh, that's probably where I originally got that from. And so the main one I want to share is that crabs in the bucket thing, because I think that one is so, so powerful. Like, I feel like a lot of us get into a business like this, we get started, and then it's easy to get discouraged. I mean, I hear a lot of stories where people are like, oh, my sister and my family and everybody's in and it's so great. And then I'm like, really? Because my family sucks. But like, and they frustrate me. But I really, really appreciated that crabs in the bucket analogy, because it's not a personal thing. And that's what he emphasized. He's like, these people mean well. They really, really do. But you got to understand that 90% of all the people are doing the 9-to-5 job type situation, right? And so you cannot expect this 90% to understand what it is you're doing. And so with the crabs in the bucket, they put food for the crabs in the bucket, right? And they all stay down in the bucket. Even after the food is gone, they will, if somebody is trying, or one of the crabs is trying to climb out of the bucket, they pull them back down. They will do anything to keep all the crabs in the bucket. They have the ability to get out of the bucket, but they don't even put a top on it, because they know that the crabs will keep each other down. And he says the only difference between people and crabs is one lives in the water. Like, that is what we are up against. And so don't take it personal. It's okay. Not everybody is going to get it. Not everybody's going to see it. Not everybody's going to run with you. That's okay. All you need to do is just like that, the waitress that offers the coffee. All you do is you offer it and you keep on moving. You offer it and you keep on moving. Don't get discouraged. Still love on them. I still love my sister that refuses to place a $100 order, but that's a whole nother story. And so I appreciated listening to that again, because I needed to hear it, because I'm yellow, so then I do get sensitive and I feel like, oh, why don't you love me? So yeah, that was it.
I kind of feel a bit discouraged, like I was telling Tashina, because I've never worked a job where it's solely commission. But I am it sounds crazy, I'm a shy person, but at the same time I'm outgoing. I'm shy when it comes to knowing that everybody's attention is on me, like right now, and I have to actually get out of that mode, because I know that that's the only way I'm gonna succeed. I mean, in every aspect of my life, when I know that cameras or attention is on me, I tend to shy away and I don't feel as confident. So I feel like I need help with that. And I told Tashina, and she's trying, but I really want to give this company a shot, because what it has to offer is very beneficial, all around. So I just had to say that.
That's actually a really great point, and I always think it's something similar when it's commissions only, and you're like, the first couple months, I don't see what's happening. How do you guys, you guys that have gotten through that, maybe it just time passed. I mean, I've been at it for a while, and I think I'm still at that level. So we want to hear from Anthony, because he knows what I mean.
Okay, so it's interesting because Jim Rohn talks about this in that talk where he talks about the beauty of part-time. And when you think about that, like he says something to the extent of, I'm working on my 9-to-5, and then he also talks about how I'm working part-time on my fortune. So that kind of helps to bridge the gap, because if you remember that you work to take care of your needs and necessities, right? But it's not necessarily where you may want to put all your stock, because, job market's always changing. I mean, you may not want to work a 9-to-5. And so remember that that's the beauty of getting started in something like network marketing, is even though it's straight commission, like you can do it part-time in addition to what you're already doing. So most people on this call, like, they're able to pay their bills for the most part. And if you're not, the fact that Young Living offers you the ability to earn commissions and additional income, like that's just extra money to go with what you're already doing. So there's a book that I read that talks about when a person wants to transition from working a full-time job over to working this business full-time, you have to at least be making twice of what your normal income is. So just keep that in mind, because that's just giving you the realistic outlook. You want to be making 2 to 3 times on your, so like say for your Young Living business, you want to be making 2 to 3 times what you're making on your 9 to 5 to be financially stable enough to walk away from what you're doing and still be okay. That's where that security and that feeling of like I can live solely off of commissions comes from. So until you're making 2 to 3 times, like don't even think about quitting your 9 to 5 job.
So what if this is your only job?
Yeah.
So first of all, what I would say for the first step, if you feel like that, fill out the belief questionnaire immediately and send that to the person you're working with. You need to know exactly where you need the help. And then you need to feed your mind the missing pieces. So when I personally started, I went star within 30 days, senior star within 3 months, and executive within a year, because I fed myself so much stuff. So I would wake up in the morning and I would put on something from Eric Worre GoPro. Every single morning I put something into my head because I am the most corporate, like I am the opposite of entrepreneur, right? Like I've been brainwashed so hard for a 9 to 5 and security, and this is a life. This is the way it's supposed to be. And you just accept that you're supposed to work 80 hours a week sometimes. And that's that. When I was still married with my ex-husband, sometimes I would work and he would be like, do you really have to take that call at night? And my response would be, this is what 80,000 a year looks like. I just accepted that life. I accepted it destroying my health. I accepted that everyone at 30 is going to get high blood pressure and high cholesterol because that's the way it is. So my brain was so in that mode that I had to transform my thoughts. And every day I had to put some entrepreneur stuff in my head to transform my thoughts. And even now I have really big goals. And I have my affirmations recorded in my phone of my big goals. And I listen to 15 minutes of who I'm supposed to be and what my goals are. And the universe will respond to that. Like one of the things that I say is that I have 12 amazing leaders on my team. I got 9 people on this call, right? Like I got 10. I'm close to that. So my leaders have been growing. People have been coming into the team. So it's really honestly knowing where your weaknesses are. You got to be real clear on that. And then find the information. It's all skill sets. These are all things that can be learned. So find the information to develop those skills.
And then I'll just add one more thing, because someone had the question, like, what if this is what you're doing as your primary source of income?
Right.
So like, remember that Jim Rohn talked about how even though your skill set, your skills may not be up to par when you first get started, you're going to get better. But one thing that we know for sure, and I know like I'm a green personality, which means I'm analytical. Like I like details. I like to have all the answers. But this is a numbers game. So even if you you can't get your thoughts together, like you struggle with being around people and talking to people, statistically speaking, if you talk to 10 people, you can at least get 1 to sign up, right?
Okay.
So how many people do you need to enroll, or how many leaders do you need in this business to go Royal Crown Diamond? 7, right?
Yeah.
So statistically speaking, if you spoke to 100 people, you could sign up. Even if you were really bad at this, you could sign up 10 people. Now, how many of those people will become leaders? Who knows? But as you get better, then it's, if I talk to 100 people, okay, I can sign up 30. Now I have a larger pool to pull from of potential leaders. And you hustle with that. and say, how fast then can I get through that 100 names list? How fast can I get through my 30 people or 10 people that I enroll and help them get their 100 names list and get through their, so it has to become a hustle mentality that says that I'm going to make up in numbers what I lack in skill.
And I want to quickly add to that, because also measure your efforts by the things that you can actually measure.
Right.
So a huge mistake that I made is I want to recruit 5 people or whatever this month, right? And so then when I didn't recruit 5 people, so I have to do a lot of programming. I needed a whole therapy to get my life together, because my negative mentality comes in so strong. Yeah. So if I didn't recruit those 5 people, like, don't talk to me for 2 weeks, like, because now I'm depressed and woe is me, I'm Chicken Little and the sky is falling and all the things, right? So instead I said, no. So taking those numbers into factor, if I want 5 people, how many people do I need to talk to reasonably? What can I do? So then I would set goals where it's like 10 people a day. My goal is to connect and make lasting relationships with 10 people a day, because that I can control. I can't control if they sign up or not, but I can control how many people I talk to. I can control my follow-up game. I can control how many classes I attend or invite to. And so that's how I had to later shift because it definitely was a lot for me mentally. And similar to Tashina, I know the first time I would say I actually was doing anything serious is when I was running from senior star to executive. And that's when I did do like a 90-day push where I talked to 10 people a day for 90 days. And I did every single morning have to listen to something to get all of my negative thoughts out of my head.
And that's where I feel I come into. I always think, but I've never done only commission. What if I don't make it? I have 2 kids I have to support, my rents, my light bill, and all that plays a part of, how successful you might want to be. I feel like, it's a learning curve for me, totally. But now let me ask you, when you first started, who did you reach out to and how did you reach out to them? Was it Facebook or was it any social media platform? Was it face-to-face? Was it on the phone? How did you do it?
Who, me or?
Dana.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when I first started, I connected to people I knew or at some point knew, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
So some of them I might not have actually talked to in quite some time, but I knew them in some way. Most of the time, how I used social media was to reconnect with them because I didn't necessarily have everybody's phone numbers and things like that. But it was always people I knew when I first started. I didn't start like getting outside of people I knew until probably more recently.
Okay.
And if I can just get real with you guys for a minute, like everybody has like a couple friends or family members that it doesn't matter what they're doing, they're going to support you because they love you.
Yeah.
So start with them because it doesn't matter what you're doing. They're going to be like, yeah, Alicia, I'm down to go the long haul with you. Now, whether that's true or not,
right,
that remains to be seen. But if you start with those individuals and you get them excited about the product and loving what we've come to love, then they have that circle too, right? They have a circle of family and friends that just want to support them because they love them. So start there and then you continue to build out from there.
And Darren Hardy did talk about that in the Making the Shift as well, because he's like, we all know people in our life that they could have an on-point presentation, it could be a legit product, but you would not purchase anything from them ever because you just know their character and you know who they are. And we have to realize that in this business, the people that for the most part get started, they don't care about the science behind the oils. They don't really care about the plants and, oh, you got a farm and this. And they don't start caring about that stuff till they're already in there. Like, oh, yeah, that's why it justifies why I paid that much. Yep, it's good now. So when they first started, they're really looking at you. and
Yep.
they know, like, and trust you. And so they want to be a part of whatever you're doing because of that.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and then in the morning, Dose of Valor, they were quoting and they say it all the time, culture eats strategy for breakfast. So you bring people around the team and they see the excitement and they see the enthusiasm, and that is going to get you faster than anything else. And Eric Worre says that you should be able to get like your first level in your business and a row full of people at your first event by if you love me, you would do it. Because that's how I got Star, was if you love me, you would do it. My best friend at work, my best friend at the Kingdom Hall, my mom and brother and cousin. That got me Star.
Wait, so does that mean I didn't love you enough?
You didn't love me enough. You're the green. You're the green that still, despite, needs all the information. But I literally got Star from if you loved me, you would do it. Every single one of those people that bought the kit had no intention of ever sharing. They're just like, oh, I guess I'll use the diffuser instead of candles. I love Tashina. I'm going to come to her spot party. But my best friend at the Kingdom Hall is Kate and Carrie's upline and is the top of my second leg. My best friend at work she isn't doing anything. She went inactive. My mother did reach executive and she's brought me people. So you just never know. Just share, invite to all the classes, let them get the enthusiasm, share your enthusiasm with your products, and just get to that first level while you're training.
How do you counteract? Because like for my mom, she has doTERRA and she also has Young Living. She hasn't used the Young Living yet, but she swears by doTERRA. Like, how do you counteract that? Especially me, I don't know anything about the product. So it's hard for me to persuade her into believing or even wanting to join to see for herself.
So there's a Seed to Seal website, and that's actually brought out in the Vital 180 training. So when we get together and start working you through Vital 180, you'll get that information. Okay. But at the end of the day, Young Living is the only place that uses their own farms. So it's just like when we talk about, counterfeit money versus normal money. Like, I don't know anything about doTERRA, and I've only used it like once or been around it twice. But what I do know is that Young Living changed my life. What I do know is Young Living has makeup and doTERRA doesn't. What I do know, Young Living has collagen infused skincare and doTERRA doesn't. So I choose to be with the company that owns their own farms and has 35 years of research and experience and has 700 product lines, because there is no other health and wellness company that has that. To me, that's what sells me on it.
Okay. Good information.
Any other comments? So yeah, I think that making the shift is a really good one. So again, the links, you guys got them either in your message or I put them in here, because it really is that mindset shift. That is what that is talking about. No longer thinking like an employee and thinking more like an entrepreneur. Throwing away what you knew before and shifting your mind to how an entrepreneur thinks. So that is a really, really good one to go through. And then the last thing is just the 4-year career. When you hit Star, usually I send that to all of the people that hit Star. There's a little, hold on one second. Okay. So this is a book that you really need to work through and probably to go through over and over again. There's a 20-minute video that gives it, but it is, again, is a different concept. It is a complete different concept because, like Anthony was mentioning, you are looking for 7 leaders. That's what you're looking for. And that's where people get stuck, because they think, I don't have a big names list. I don't like to talk to people. My circle's real small. That you're not trying to recruit 300 people on your own to get silver. I was looking at some of my numbers, and it'll go over this at the end of the 4-year career. It'll tell you how many people that people have recruited. Like in my entire 5.5-year career, I've probably signed up about 50 people. And there's some people on the team that have probably signed up more than me, and they may be a lower rank. And there's some people that have signed up maybe 20 people, and they only have 20 people on the team. So what is the difference? The difference is you're looking for people that you can train to do what you do. You're looking for duplication. You're looking people who will show up to all of the classes. You are looking for people who will go through Vital 180. You are looking for people who are going to share regularly. So again, that's the numbers. Only about 4% of people are going to share. So your job is just the ones that are doing it just because they love you, is to get them educated so that they fall in love with the products. When we did our power hours, we talked about our onboarding process. Our onboarding process is so important to get people engaged, coming around, loving those products, right? Making sure that they get their text messages. So like Alicia's new, so she's in the process of getting her text messages. Those are the things that each new person has to have so that they can learn to fall in love with the products. They get motivated to come to the classes, they get educated. And then when they're totally in love with the products, they'll probably share with 1 or 2 people. But the most important thing, again, he uses 4 people here. And for our particular company, we're looking for 7. That's what we're looking for. Then some of those people will enroll 1 people, some will enroll 12, but what we're looking for is geometric progression. In the video, he talks about this is where you make the most amount of your money, down here. And this is like seriously true. Like a lot of the people on here are like my 4th and 5th level, and they're the ones working, and they're the ones bringing people on my team. And so I've probably had in total maybe 450 people on my team, and some have went inactive, but I have 300 people on my team right now. I didn't bring those 300 people. I brought 50 people, and of those 50 people, 40 of them just came around. Maybe 20 of them order on a regular basis, but the rest of you guys that are on this call are bringing those people. And that's what we have to continue to duplicate. The more people that you bring to the trainings, the more people that you bring to the classes, the better chance you have at this geometric progression.
Can I add?
Yep, absolutely.
The other thing, I think there's so much power also in just helping people, even if it is share with 2 people. I think so many times too, we get caught up in looking for people to, run with the business part of it. But I don't know the exact statistics. It was in a presentation, but if a person at least gets $1 back, they're more likely to stick around, stay on ER, and continue to use the products. That doesn't mean that they're going to keep enrolling people, but that one little spark of seeing a little money back, like, I got $50, they're going to be more, they're not going to fret about now, let me place a $50 order or a $100 order. Cause I mean, that's a win-win. If I get $100 worth of products and I only pay $50, I'm excited, right? Like we get excited when we go to Target and we get cash, like, ooh, 3%, 5%. Right, 5%, whoop, whoop, you know? So if people can see those little things, that's going to be so powerful. So every single person that gets started, like, even if they're not trying to do the business, again, kind of go back to that, well, you love me, and is there 2 people that you can refer to me? You know what I mean? So that might be you have to take care of them. That might mean you have to, nurture them and train them and things like that, because the other person already said, like, I don't want to do the business. But if they are referred by that person, still put them under them. They still get that check. They still get a little kickback. I know, honestly and truthfully, one of my legs, I mean, because I kept stacking under her and kept doing things because she was still ordering the 100, now she's a builder. You know what I mean? Now she's excited because even if it was little checks trickling in, she was like, oh, he's getting bigger. what would happen if I actually did something with this? Like, and so you never really know where that can go.
All righty. Any other questions or concerns? Alicia, you're gonna get some stuff. You got like 3 packages coming from me. You got
Great, I'm so excited.
because I sent you samples like the day before you ordered your kit. So you're gonna have a few oils. Then I sent you the stuff for the spa party. You didn't get the stuff for the spa party today?
Anything. Well, actually, I didn't check earlier today because they're working on my elevator or on the building elevator, and they closed that off. So once I get off the call with you, I'm gonna go downstairs and hopefully.
Okay. Yeah, hopefully you got the stuff for the spa party, and then I sent you some makeup yesterday. So you're like, you got nothing right now, but eventually you're gonna get something every day. You're gonna be like, yay, more Yakulimi stuff.
I know. You know, it was very interesting with the chiropractor because I feel a lot of tension on my shoulders, like a lot of tension. And I always ask my kids almost every night, can you rub my back? And when they actually rub my back, they can feel, on my shoulders, they can feel that it's tension. So it made sense to what he said. When you're feeling stress, it all comes here.
It does.
You look down and you're on your phone. And so I can't wait to get that kit so I can put some oil back there.
Yep. The Panaway is going to be amazing for that. And then doing some of the little exercises that he gave us.
I looked online well, actually my son did. He looked on Amazon. 1 ounce of the Thieves spray is like $30. 1 ounce.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yep. Well, alrighty, guys. Yeah, if you have time and you haven't listened to those videos, the Making the Shift and the Jim Rohn one are in Spanish too, so you can share those with other people. They're each an hour long, and then the 4-year career one is only 20 minutes long. So very good to definitely get through those in the next 24 hours if you have not, and share them with other people on your team. All right, so we will close this out and talk to you guys later. Have a good one. Bye, guys.
Everybody.
Good night.
Thank you. Bye.
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 Something.
Thank you. Bye.
Definitely needed the motivation boost.
Good deal.